I don't care what people think. I don't care how they feel, but I'm going to tell them how it is. And it's my job to coach them up. And that's where I always get it. It's like, I'd rather you hate me and be great than be your friend and watch you fail. And I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. And it's a hard thing. And just even to circle back with what you said about telling people, there's things you can't even tell your significant other because it's a balance of if something happens with an employee and you go verbal vomit to them, they think less of that employee and they start to judge. And then you got to be careful, like you said, even if you say something to your number two, they think less of that employee, and it could just be an emotional reaction. So it's really difficult to navigate the emotional balance, the mental strain on you, because very rarely does anyone ever check on you. When you're at the top, they don't check on you how you're doing. They don't care what you're going through. They're assuming that your life's perfect, you have zero problems, and you have unlimited lives to solve everyone else's. And I recently had an employee, he goes, something about, I go, man, the wife's sick. She had to go to the hospital. Kids were sick. It was like, and he goes, oh, and here I'm complaining about this. And I said, no, man, you're good. And he goes, I forget you're a person sometimes. Yeah. And I was like, what? He goes, I just forget. He goes, I just assume you're just used to doing all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, man. He's like, how do you do it? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I really have no clue, but you just get it done.
Well, and I think you've got, it's one thing to be direct with people, which I think we can, but I also try to give permission. Like my number two right now, he was an athletic director for 10 years. So he's got some perspective of kind of the level of leadership and the burden.
Absolutely.
And so he's got permission if he sees me not doing something, or if he sees me not being attentive to some aspect of he's got open rein to like sit down and say, hey, we need to, have you thought about this? Or let's look at this and see how we can fix it. And I think that's hard too, because I think even within some of those closest in your leadership team, there's still, because you are the CEO, there's still a barrier there that they're afraid to cross. And like you have to give people permission. And to your point, you have to be humble enough to take it and not just be defensive or then put up a wall with those relationships.